Hey there. I've been thinking a lot about Quebec's cultural heritage recently, and I can't help but wonder about the role of music and dance in it. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Quebec's cultural heritage is incredibly rich, and music and dance play a vital role in preserving and celebrating it. Let's dive into this fascinating topic.
Absolutely. So, first off, it seems like music and dance have been a part of Quebec's cultural identity for centuries. I mean, we often hear about traditional Quebecois folk music and dance. How do you think they've evolved over time?
You're absolutely right. Quebec's traditional music and dance have deep historical roots, dating back to the arrival of French settlers in the 17th century. Initially, these art forms were influenced by French folk traditions. However, over time, they evolved to incorporate elements from Indigenous cultures, English settlers, and other immigrant groups.
That's fascinating how different cultural influences shaped Quebec's music and dance. It must have created a unique blend. Can you tell me more about the distinctiveness of Quebecois music and dance compared to other regions?
Certainly. Quebecois music and dance have a distinctiveness that sets them apart. One key feature is the use of traditional instruments like the fiddle, accordion, and harmonica. These instruments give Quebecois music its distinctive sound, characterized by lively and energetic tunes. The foot tapping, hand clapping, and rhythmic steps in Quebecois dance are also unique, often seen in dances like the jig and the reel.
I've heard about the jig and the reel before. They sound like a lot of fun. It's interesting how these elements have survived over time. How do you think they've contributed to preserving Quebec's cultural heritage?
Well, these traditional music and dance forms have played a significant role in preserving Quebec's cultural heritage in several ways. Firstly, they act as a link to the past, connecting modern Quebecers with their ancestors and their cultural roots. Through music and dance, people can experience the traditions of their forebears.
That's a beautiful way to connect with one's heritage. I can see how it fosters a sense of belonging and pride. But I imagine that Quebec's cultural landscape has changed over the years. How do traditional music and dance fit into contemporary Quebecois culture?
Traditional music and dance have certainly adapted to contemporary Quebecois culture. While they still hold a special place in preserving heritage, they've also found their way into modern music and dance scenes. Musicians and dancers often blend traditional elements with more contemporary styles, creating something new and exciting. This fusion of old and new keeps the culture vibrant and relevant.
It's impressive how these traditions have managed to stay relevant and evolve with the times. I've also noticed that there are festivals and events dedicated to Quebecois music and dance. How do these contribute to the cultural heritage of the region?
Festivals and events are crucial in celebrating and promoting Quebecois music and dance. They provide a platform for artists to showcase their talent and for the public to immerse themselves in the culture. Festivals like the Festival International de Jazz de Montréal and the Festival Folk sur le Canal attract both local and international audiences, further spreading awareness of Quebec's cultural heritage.
It's remarkable how these events have become cultural ambassadors for Quebec. I've also heard that traditional Quebecois songs often tell stories about the region's history and folklore. Can you share some examples of these songs and their significance?
Certainly. Traditional Quebecois songs are often called chansons à grave répondre or call and response songs. They were a way for early settlers to share stories, news, and experiences. One well-known example is Chansons Le Moulin, which tells the story of a young woman working by a mill and has become a symbol of Quebec's cultural identity. Songs like these not only entertain, but also serve as a historical record of Quebec's past.
That's a fascinating example. I can see how these songs serve as a living history lesson. Speaking of history, Quebec has had its fair share of cultural challenges, including efforts to preserve the French language. How have music and dance played a role in language preservation?
Music and dance have played a crucial role in language preservation in Quebec. Many traditional songs are in French, and they've helped reinforce the importance of the language in Quebecois culture. Furthermore, artists often write and perform songs that celebrate the French language and its resilience in the face of challenges. These songs become a source of pride for the Quebecois and a reminder of the importance of preserving their linguistic heritage.
It's heartening to see how music and dance can contribute to language preservation. I've also heard that Quebec has its own distinct style of dance called Quebecois step dance. Could you tell me more about it and its significance?
Of course. Quebecois step dance, or danse grave claquettes, is a unique style of dance characterized by intricate footwork and rhythmic tapping. It's closely related to Irish and Scottish step dancing, but has developed its own distinct style in Quebec. This dance form has deep cultural significance as it often accompanies traditional Quebecois music, creating a vibrant and rhythmic performance that's both visually and orally captivating.
It sounds mesmerizing. I can imagine how the combination of music and dance would create an unforgettable experience. So, overall, how do you think music and dance contribute to the overall cultural identity of Quebec?
Music and dance are integral to the cultural identity of Quebec. They connect Quebecers to their heritage, providing a sense of continuity with the past. They also serve as a means of expression, celebration, and storytelling. Through music and dance, Quebecers express their unique identity, their love for their language, and their pride in their history.
It's clear that music and dance are not just forms of entertainment in Quebec, but are deeply rooted in the cultural fabric of the region. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts on this topic?
I would say that the role of music and dance in Quebec's cultural heritage is multifaceted. They are both preservers of tradition and innovators of the future. They connect generations and bridge cultural divides. They are a source of joy and a means of reflection. Ultimately, they are the heartbeat of Quebec's rich and diverse cultural heritage.
Well said. Thank you for this enlightening discussion about the role of music and dance in Quebec's cultural heritage. It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Likewise, I'm always excited to discuss the cultural treasures of Quebec. If you ever have more questions or want to delve deeper into any aspect, feel free to reach out. Quebec's heritage is a rich tapestry worth exploring.